You wake up exhausted, not the kind of tired that sleep fixes, the deeper kind, the kind that comes from carrying too much for too long. You tell yourself it will get better when the promotion comes through, when the relationship improves, when you finally have more time. But the months pass and nothing shifts, because nothing on the outside was ever going to fix what lives on the inside. Here is what nobody tells you. The men who seem unshakable, the ones who move through chaos without breaking, who face adversity without collapsing, who operate from a level of clarity you cannot quite access. They are not lucky. They are not born different. They built something. Internally, deliberately, one decision at a time. And most people will never build it because they are waiting for life to cooperate first. Today, you will learn 10 mindset shifts rooted in Stoic philosophy and behavioral neuroscience. Shifts that separate the men who survive from the men who dominate. Not through motivation, not through inspiration, through the precise daily reconstruction of how your mind operates. Master your mind, or it will master you. Before we go further, if this is already landing, drop a like, because this content needs to reach the men who are still waiting when they should be building. Shift 1. Your thoughts are not facts. Stop treating them like they are. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Most men never question their own thoughts. A thought arrives and they accept it as reality. I am not capable enough. This will not work out. I am behind where I should be. And because they never challenge these thoughts, they live inside them, permanently. Here is what neuroscience reveals. Your brain is not designed for accuracy, it is designed for survival. And survival means scanning for threats constantly. The negativity bias is not a flaw. It is a feature built for an environment that no longer exists. Your brain treats a critical email the same way it treats a physical threat. The amygdala fires, cortisol rises, and you begin thinking from fear instead of from clarity. The first shift is simple but requires daily practice. Stop treating every thought as truth. Observe it. Interrogate it. Ask, is this accurate or is this fear talking? Have I survived everything that has come at me so far? The answer is yes, because you are still here. When you stop believing every thought your brain generates, you stop being controlled by them. And when you stop being controlled by your thoughts, you start directing them. That is where real power begins. Shift 2. Motivation is unreliable. Build systems that do not require it. Motivation is not a strategy. It is a feeling, and feelings change. Feelings disappear at exactly the moment you need them most, the morning your alarm fires at 5:30 and your body says no. The moment the work gets hard and resistance says stop. The day everything falls apart and your mind says, why bother? Discipline does not ask those questions. Discipline shows up because that is what it does. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. They designed their routines in advance precisely because they knew the hard days were coming. They did not wait to feel ready. They built structures that carried them when readiness disappeared. Build your morning and evening anchors now, before the hard days arrive. Because when they arrive, and they will, your structure will be the only thing standing between who you are and who you are capable of becoming. Motivation will have already left the building. Your system will still be running. Shift 3. Master what is in your control. Release everything else. Epictetus opens the Enchiridion, his foundational philosophical handbook, with the most operationally precise idea in all of Stoic literature. Some things are within our control and some are not. He called this the dichotomy of control. And 2,000 years later, modern psychology confirms what he articulated from a position of literal slavery. The entire difference between a peaceful mind and a tormented one lives in that single distinction. What is within your control? Your opinions, your effort, your response to what happens, the standard you hold yourself to when no one is watching, the choices you make in the next 5 minutes, what is not within your control, her opinion of you, the economy, whether your competitor succeeds, other people's moods, decisions and behavior, traffic, illness, the outcome of every conversation you have today. You never controlled those things. You only believed you could. And that belief is what has been draining you. Most men spend 80% of their mental energy on things they have absolutely no power to change. They replay conversations as if replaying them will rewrite the outcome. They simulate future disasters as if anxiety is productive preparation. They stress over external variables while completely neglecting the one domain where they have full authority. Their own choices, their own discipline, their own response. The Stoics called this prohairesis, your capacity to choose. It is the only thing that is truly and unconditionally yours. No one can take it. No circumstance can remove it. And most men never use it deliberately because they are too busy trying to control everything that falls outside of it. Here is the practical application. Right now, name one thing you are currently worried about. Then ask yourself one question. Is this within my control? If no, release it, not performatively actually, and redirect that energy toward one concrete action within your power today. That is where your strength lives. That is the only place it ever has. Shift 4. Gratitude is not soft. It is a neurological reset. Seneca wrote, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for what he has not, but rejoices for what he has." Modern neuroscience confirms what Seneca understood intuitively. Consistent gratitude practice physically restructures the brain. It strengthens neural pathways associated with contentment and emotional regulation, while weakening the ones tied to anxiety and threat detection. It is not metaphor, it is neuroplasticity. But most men dismiss gratitude as weakness, as something soft people do in journals. Meanwhile, their brains are running a constant deficit calculation, comparing what they have to what they lack, what they achieved to what they have not yet built, who they are to who they think they should be. That calculation is a trap, and gratitude is how you exit it. Start with 3 specific things every morning, not generic, specific. The conversation yesterday that gave you clarity, the meal that was exactly what you needed, the fact that your body is still working for you even when you forget to take care of it. This is not denial of struggle. This is training your brain to locate the good alongside the hard, because both always exist simultaneously, and whichever one you focus on determines how you operate. Shift 5. Complexity drains you. Simplicity is a performance decision. You are carrying too much, too many commitments made out of guilt, too many distractions you have not had the discipline to cut, too many relationships maintained out of obligation, too many tabs open in your brain, simultaneously pulling your attention in every direction. The Stoics practiced voluntary simplicity not as a philosophy, but as a performance strategy. They understood that clarity and complexity cannot coexist. Every unnecessary thing you carry, whether it is a possession, a commitment, or a worry, takes cognitive bandwidth you could be using to build, execute, and decide. Take inventory of your current week. What are you doing that does not align with who you are building yourself to become? What obligations are you fulfilling out of guilt rather than genuine investment? What distractions are consuming hours and delivering nothing meaningful in return? Cut them. Not eventually, now. Every yes to something that does not serve you is a no to something that does. Peace does not come from having more. It comes from needing less. Simplicity is not deprivation. It is precision, and precision is how high-performing minds operate. Shift 6. Obstacles are not interruptions, they are the material. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is not motivational language. This is a philosophical framework. Every setback carries information you cannot get any other way. Every failure reveals something a smooth path would have hidden. Every obstacle forces the development of a capability that comfort never would have built. The man who collapses when things go wrong was never actually strong. He was just comfortable. The man who uses difficulty as material, as data, as fuel, as construction equipment for his character, becomes genuinely untouchable. Not because nothing can hurt him, but because nothing can stop him. Viktor Frankl survived a concentration camp and emerged with this insight. Everything can be taken from a man except his ability to choose his response to what happens. You cannot control what arrives, you can control what you build from it. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this making me capable of? That single shift changes your entire relationship with adversity. Shift 7. End every day with a reckoning, not with regret, but with clarity. Seneca asked himself 3 questions every night. What bad habit did I address today? What weakness did I resist? In what way am I better than I was this morning? He was not looking for perfection. He was looking for direction. He was closing the loop on the day so the day's unresolved weight did not carry into tomorrow. Most men go to bed with their minds still running, still replaying, still calculating, still carrying the tension of what went wrong and what still needs to go right. And they wonder why they wake up depleted before the day even begins. 5 minutes before bed. 3 questions. What went well today? What do I want to handle differently tomorrow? What am I committed to when I wake up? Write it or sit with it quietly. Either way, let the day close, because you cannot build a strong tomorrow while dragging the unresolved weight of today into it. This practice returns you to the author's chair. You are not a passive passenger in your own life. You are the one holding the pen. Shift 8. Guard your inputs. Like your performance depends on it, because it does. You are what you consume, not just food, information, media, conversations, environments, the people you give your time to. Everything that enters your awareness shapes your beliefs, your mood, your sense of what is possible, and ultimately your identity. And most men are completely undisciplined about this. They consume outrage first thing in the morning. They follow accounts that trigger comparison and inadequacy. They spend hours in conversations that drain them. They scroll through content engineered specifically to capture attention and monetize anxiety. Then they wonder why they cannot think clearly or operate from a place of strength. Epictetus was meticulous about his mental environment. He understood that a man cannot build internal strength while flooding his mind with external chaos. Audit your inputs this week with the same seriousness you would bring to auditing your finances. What you are following, what you are reading, what you are watching, who you are spending time with, what environments you are placing yourself in. If it does not make you sharper, stronger, or more grounded, it is costing you something. Cut it without negotiation. Your attention is not infinite. It is your most valuable resource. And every time you give it to something that weakens you, you are taking it from something that would have built you. Shift 9. Choose discomfort before it chooses you. The Stoics practiced negative visualization, deliberately imagining loss, hardship, and adversity, not as pessimism, but as preparation. They understood that the man who has never practiced discomfort will be destroyed by it when it arrives uninvited. Cold showers, intermittent fasting, running when you do not feel like it, sitting in silence instead of reaching for your phone, having the difficult conversation you have been avoiding for weeks. These are not dramatic acts. They are training. They are you proving to yourself through repeated evidence that you are capable of handling more than your instincts suggest. Most men spend their lives optimizing for comfort, avoiding friction, choosing the path of least resistance at every fork. And then real adversity arrives: financial pressure, relationship breakdown, professional failure, and they have no capacity to absorb it, because capacity is built through voluntary discomfort in small doses. Build it now, deliberately, consistently, so that when life demands more than you think you have, you discover that you already built exactly what was needed. Shift 10. Stop looking inward, start building outward. Here is the paradox that the Stoics understood and modern psychology confirms. The fastest path out of your own suffering is to stop focusing exclusively on it. When you are trapped entirely in your own head, everything feels heavy, unbearable, impossible. But the moment you direct your energy outward, the moment you help someone, contribute something, create something that serves someone beyond yourself, the weight shifts. Purpose is not found through introspection alone. It is built through action and contribution. The man who has something to give, knowledge, strength, time, presence, is a man with a reason to show up. And having a reason changes everything. You do not need a grand mission. You need a consistent direction. Who can you help today? What can you contribute this week that did not exist before you showed up? It does not need to be visible or recognized or rewarded. It needs to be real. Because service is the antidote to self-absorption. And self-absorption is the silent prison that comfort builds around a man who stopped growing. The closing. Here is where you stand. 10 shifts, 10 practices, 10 ways to stop waiting for life to cooperate and start building the mind that operates regardless of whether it does. None of this is complicated. All of it is demanding. And the distance between understanding and executing is the distance between the man you are and the man you are capable of becoming. You will forget these shifts. You will slip back into old patterns. You will have days where building feels harder than surrendering. That is not failure. That is the process. Because strength is not built on the good days. It is built on the days when everything inside you says stop, and you continue anyway. The Stoics did not expect perfection. They expected consistency. They expected direction. They expected you to pick yourself up every time you fell and continue building. Not for applause, not for recognition. For the standard you set inside yourself when no one is watching. Pick one shift today. 1. Practice it for 7 days without negotiation. Build from there. Because happiness is not arriving. Strength is not a gift. They are both built, daily, deliberately, by the man who stops waiting and starts working. Drop a like if this is landing, because the man who watches this and does nothing has learned nothing. But the man who watches this and picks one shift to execute today has already begun. This is the Stoic equilibrium. Reason as a way of life. Virtue as strength. Discipline as the path. See you in the next video.